Jerry was walking down the sidewalk with a Native American friend in a big, busy American city. It was lunchtime in Washington, and you know how in this big city people hustle along the sidewalk, cars honking, hurried engine noises, people speaking, crowds. In the middle of all this traffic, the American Indian stopped and said, "Hey, a cricket." "What?" said Jerry. "Yeah, a cricket," said his friend. "Look here." And he pulled aside some of the bushes that separated the sidewalk from the buildings, and there, in the shade, there was a cricket chirping away happily. "Wow," said Jerry. "How did you hear that cricket with all this noise and traffic all around?" "Oh," said the native man, "it was the way I was raised up. I was taught to listen for. Let me show you something." The native man reached into his pocket, pulled out a handful of coins, quarters, dimes, whatever, and dropped them on the sidewalk. Everyone who was rushing by stopped to listen. See, we only hear what we choose to listen to. We hear only what we love to listen and what we want to hear. You see, the problem with listening is not in our ears. The problem with listening is in our hearts because we actually choose what we want to hear. See, let us see what really prevents us from listening. The first problem is when we form part of a crowd. Jesus took the deaf man away from the crowd. He did not want to deal with him when he was still part of the crowd. And this is what Jesus did over and over again. He seems to always fail with the crowds. It was a crowd that cried, "Crucify him," whilst he always succeeded with individuals. You see, the crowd robs us of our individuality. We become part of a category. We become a member of a party, a member of a congregation, a church, a club. It is when, in our wish to be with others, and this is the danger, we end up in a crowd, and that means belonging to no one. It is more convenient to seek safety in an anonymous group. I lose myself. I stop being me, and I become a Jesuit. I become a Christian. I become a priest, a Maltese. Crowds are the best place in which we can hide. I find it so comfortable when I can escape from my personal responsibilities. I am protected from being judged or rejected because we all do this. Because I am part of the crowd, I lose myself in the process. So I can enjoy herd immunity to escape into the convenient anonymity when I am no one. Jesus first saved the deaf man from being no one, from being nobody, part of the crowd. And he puts his finger into the man's ears to block him from listening to the noises coming from the crowd. So he can listen to the cricket song deep within his heart. It is the only way for us to start listening to the life songs of those around us. If we first can listen to the life song that is within us. Once we hear that frail, gentle voice within our hearts, we can start listening to the hidden song of the beauty in those around us. But it is not enough to open our ears to listen to the pains, the joys, the trials, the blessings within us. Because listening is also receiving. We cannot look up ourselves in our own little worlds. We cannot just isolate ourselves from our brothers and sisters, refusing to be part of the crowd. Does not mean retiring into our own comfortable little worlds in the name of privacy, personal prayer, isolating introspection, me and my body. We cannot be all ears. We need to communicate. We need to share who we are and what we live in those with those around us. And that's why we do not only have ears, but we have also a mouth and a tongue to be able to speak, to share the beauty we will have discovered thanks to this real and deep listening. The deaf and dumb man of the gospel represents the isolation that we humans condemn ourselves to when we just listen without speaking, or when we speak without listening. It is not enough to be free from the madding crowd so that we can be in touch with our deeper selves. No, we need to open our hearts, open our mouths to share what is within us. We need to go back to those around us without becoming part of the crowd so that we can be indeed witnesses and offer them what we have discovered. In this way, too, we will taste how good and wonderful it is when brothers and sisters live as one. And still, yet again, just opening our mouths to speak is not enough. So many people have been killed, destroyed by a simple word coming from a vile mouth. The Gospel describes how Jesus shares his own spit with the dumb man, as if he wants to put his own words into the dry, barren, and silent mouth of the dumb, poor man who is you and who is me. That divine moisture coming from the mouth of Jesus will bring forth life-giving words from the dried up and silent mouth of the man. Ephata, open up. It is only if we receive the Spirit of Jesus that from our mouth will come life-giving blessings, words of encouragement, understanding, and whatever strengthens the true love that binds us to one another. And Jesus, knowing well the tendency for our human nature to ruin even the most beautiful of our gifts, he warns the crowd. He ordered them not to tell anyone. He ordered silence again. He sent them back to the real silence that would allow their words to remain true, simple, and life-giving. He who is unable to be silent can never say something that is of value. It is only when we are silent enough that we become able to listen to that inner voice within us and the inner voice in our brothers and sisters. And only that can open our mouths to say something that is really healing, that is really loving and life giving. It is only when we are able to listen to the frail, beautiful, and enchanting song of a cricket who is lying right in the heart of every single person who is thirsty and eager to sing his song, to make his song heard, right in the heart of the chaos on the sidewalk, in the supermarket, on social media, or at the crowded family table. Only then we can hear the beautiful song of our neighbor who is just crossing our path on the sidewalk. God bless you and thank you.